Tour a luxury countryside retreat that is stunning both inside and outside.
We're surrounded by 95 acres of rolling hills. Lots of wildlife out here, coyotes, deer, and of course buffalo.
Did he just say buffalo?
Common reaction when I tell people I have buffalo is why? To which all I can say is, why not?
And learn how one man's passion for a place led him to discover his ultimate island getaway and get a new lease on life and love.
I was just blown away, and I couldn't get over it. And this really was 1 in 1,000, and I'm the luckiest guy you'll ever know.
I'm Danielle.
I'm Dave, and this is our retreat.
This beautiful country retreat, with its stunning great room, dream kitchen, games room, and decadent outdoor pool and fireplace, is more than just a luxury getaway for this globe-trotting couple. It's also a hobby farm for some quite unexpected residents.
The most unique aspect of this property is the fact that we do have American bison here. They're just an amazing animal to watch.
Yeah, they're beautiful and majestic, a lot more interesting than cows. We're both huge animal lovers, and we're kind of the gatekeepers, so to speak. We give them a home, and they give us something to look at.
There's a lot to enjoy and take in on this sprawling property. In addition to the impressive main house, there's nearly 100 acres of rolling pasture land and hayfields, the original stone homestead where Dave's daughter and family live, and a barn and riding area for the horses. It's truly an idyllic setting and the perfect place for Dave and Danielle and their animals to unwind.
Our retreat here kind of helps us to slow down. We both run pretty busy, crazy lifestyles, so it really allows us to kind of chill out and shut off the world, basically. Right, Dave?
Yeah. They both have very different tastes when it comes to decor. He's a little bit country, and she's more rock and roll. But it comes together in their retreat.
Our house is definitely a mix of two of our aesthetics. It's glamorous on one end and it's rustic on the other, but at the end of the day, it allows you to flop on the couch and not worry about, ruffling the pillows, and that's what we love about it. Welcome to the heart of the farm, and this is our grand room.
This house was built 14 years ago by local tradespeople. The beams are all old barn beams, 1850 vintage with the axe marks still in them. The main structure itself has no nails, it's all pegged.
The highlights of this room are definitely the high ceilings, the beautiful fireplace. I love our chandelier, the elk antler chandelier. Well, you know how some people commission artists to do portraits? We actually like to do it of our animals. There's quite a few things around our property, our place, and our home. These are actually our buffalo.
And so are these, captured in a very different style.
This is Dave's style, that's my style. It's like literally, that's what it is. This is Dave, me.
So you can put the city girl in the country, but
Danielle will never be a country girl.
No. Sometimes I look the part, but it's just for show. Yeah. It's just trying to fit in. This is my domain. This is the place that I call home. I love to cook. I love to have dinner parties. It's one of the favorite things that I like to do when I'm at the farm. Now this is like my boardroom table. This is where all the deals happen here. I love to decorate, as you can see. It's fun, kitsch, farmhouse style, very girly. And this is another example of rustic elegance. I love this chandelier.
Danielle's very fashionable. She's the only girl I think I've ever seen wearing stilettos in a stall.
Oh yeah.
Very impressive.
I collect cowboy boots, but I never wear them. This is our master bedroom. As you can see, we like to have fun with a lot of things. Good morning, gorgeous. Hello there, handsome. The only pillow that we're missing is where's my coffee. There's no way you can have a bad start to your day when you wake up and you see a beautiful view like that. Okay, if you follow me, I'm gonna let you take a little peek at my collection. These are your typical shoes that you would wear at a farm. Kidding. This is the part of the city that you can't get out of the girl. Where I collect shoes, Dave collects antiques. So this is kind of a little peek into what I call his dust collectors. The really cool thing about this piece is it was actually carried by Billy the Kid.
And this is our games room. This is our gathering spot for family and friends. We have a pool table, of course. We have a pinball machine. We have a slot machine. I also am allowed to show and display some of my antique rifles. They have not been moved to a closet as of yet. And when we come out of the rec room, this is the backyard. This is my favorite spot of the house. As you can see, we have a lounging bed and of course the pool. Behind us, we have a gazebo with a hammock for those warm summer days to enjoy. We had this fireplace built, which I love, an evening barbecue, marshmallows, etc. We've also put a pond in with a waterfall feature. This is truly a paradise. And other than that, we're surrounded by 95 acres of rolling hills. Lots of wildlife out here, coyotes, deer, and of course buffalo. And up there is our morning coffee lounge area, at which point we can look out at the buffalo, which are grazing and looking back at us. Quite a majestic sight.
As we've learned, Dave and Danielle own a herd of about 15 American bison, which they often simply refer to as buffalo. The animals are not raised for commerce. They just get to hang out and enjoy their lives.
The buffalo are basically here because I find the animals so interesting to watch. And the other plus is bison are maintenance free. And we're going to take a ride right through the buffalo field, right into the herd. Thanks, young lady. So the reason buffalo are so ideal here, as you can see, it's all rolling hills. So it's great pasture land. Can't really grow anything and harvest it. But for an animal, there's natural protection from the wind. Now, if you look here, you can see the one baby. The one on the right is 7 days old as of today. And the one to the left is 2 weeks old. So they actually walk within 20 minutes of being born. It's really fascinating. So we can get a little closer here without the herd getting too upset with us. Now they're running towards us, a bit of a stampede. This is what I would call a buffalo standoff. We're not going to move, and nor are they. So we'll just sit here and stare each other down for the next 45 minutes.
On a regular day, buffalo are not aggressive towards humans. They are in fact quite timid and will keep their distance.
They're docile as long as we do not get between the mother and the calf, or between a male and a female during a certain time of year.
So the big question is, what motivates a man to buy a home and own a herd of buffalo just to have them?
Common reaction when I tell people I have a herd and am raising buffalo is why? To which all I can say is, why not? If we didn't, if people like myself didn't raise them as a hobby, then they would cease to exist. You know, we have the land, we certainly have the pasture, and yeah, they're just it's really mental therapy at its best. My land is where the buffalo roam free.
It's also the land for some very lucky little ducks.
They follow me everywhere, kind of like a bad smell some days.
Dave and Danielle's lavish country retreat also functions as a hobby farm for a herd of American bison. But Dave isn't the only one who has become a guardian to a group of wild animals. Danielle has her own flock to care for, quite literally.
We did a rescue of 8 baby ducklings this year, and they're actually going home today. So I'm going to let you take a little sneak peek and check out these guys. Come here, baby ducks. Come on. Come on. Come on. Recently, I became the mom of 8 baby ducklings. We found a nest out in the backfield. The mother had been killed. When I was holding one of the eggs, it was starting to crack in my hand, so I actually had a hatch basically into my hand. 5 hours later, there was 8 of them born. They're now 4 weeks, And it's been a very interesting experience for us. They follow me everywhere, kind of like a bad smell some days. Can't get them off my heels. And we're going to take them out for a little bit of a swim, which is one of their favorite activities. Come on, babies. It's swim time, or bath. Woo! I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
When we rescued the birds, I just saw the eggs and I said, oh, too bad. And Danielle said, no, we're going to save them. So it's really, to see Danielle every day cleaning, feeding, watering these 8 little ducklings is amazing.
They're pretty cool with taking stuff from my hands. Jeez. And they love to try and get me wet. Excuse me, guys. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Thanks.
Did she ever think she'd be a mother duck?
I never thought in a million years I'd be raising ducks. I guess this was my swap for children or something like that. Hello, baby. Soaking wet. I think they're going to be shocked when they get put back out in the wild that there isn't a towel for them to dry off on.
Dave and Danielle have known each other for over a decade, but it wasn't until 4 years ago Dave convinced her to marry him here at the farm.
This place is also very special to Dave and I because we got married in our barn. There's very few barns, I'm sure, that have chandeliers and disco balls and laser light shows and the whole shebang in it. But we had 200 guests on the property, and so it will be forever in our hearts, probably one of the most special places ever. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
Clearly, this amazing country retreat is a blessing for all who get to enjoy it, whether furry or feathered, 4-legged or 2.
I love all the experiences that I get out here because I didn't have a lot of those as a kid. I didn't have a cat, I didn't have a dog, and so I take on all those experiences, and it's a unique life experience.
I can't imagine life without this place. My father's 91, and he was actually raised on a farm, and the kids, it gives them a reason to drop in and see us. The pool certainly helps, but they love the property.
One of the things that makes me happiest about being here is that I get to spend that downtime with my husband all the time.
All the time. We are 24/7. That should be a tattoo for us.
I know. The next one, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm Lynn.
I'm Ian. This is Molly. And this is our retreat.
Every island tells a story, and none more so than this one. A 2-acre parcel of rocks and trees that has changed one man's life forever. That man is Ian Korestein, a modern-day explorer, photographer, and ultralight pilot who, together with his partner Lynn, call this island home all summer long. But the story of how this came to be is not your typical one.
22 years ago, I took off on just a random flight with 2 friends in their planes, and so the idea was to go someplace wet. And we stumbled across the St. Lawrence River. An hour and a half later, my life changed forever, completely, comprehensively. So there's literally thousands of miles of coastline, and it's granite and pine, exquisitely, naturally beautiful. I was just blown away, and I couldn't get over it.
The place that Ian stumbled upon and blew him away is the Thousand Islands, a unique archipelago of over 1,800 small islands that straddle the U.S. and Canadian border along the St. Lawrence River, partway between Montreal and Toronto. Ian was immediately hooked and knew this is where he wanted his own island retreat.
Suddenly it all became clear, and I set off on a quest to try and find one, but it had to be able to accommodate the airplane.
But it took 3 years before Ian found what he was looking for.
When I first heard about this island, I came down the river just this way, and this is what I saw, and it looked promising, but there was no opportunity to keep the plane here. And that was a criteria that was absolutely necessary. That was my livelihood and business, so it wasn't going to happen unless the plane could be here.
To find a private island with a place to safely park his plane seemed like a pipe dream. That is, until he saw the back side of it.
And then we came around the corner, and lo and behold, what would appear So when I saw this, it's just absolutely the finest possible place to put a plane, out in the middle of the river.
To the point where Ian had to bring his tape measure and make sure that the wing would fit perfectly into the harbor.
It was that tight. And again, the end of the harbor ends in a slope, and I had amphibious floats, which means that they have wheels that can come down to land on a runway. And I could lower the wheels in the water and taxi the plane right up on land and park it in the lee of, the wind. It was almost like it was in a hangar right out in the middle of the river. And this really was 1 in 1,000, and I'm the luckiest guy you'll ever know.
That was more than 20 years ago. Ian has since turned his passion for his retreat into a career as an aerial photographer and writer, and has published 5 best-selling books about the area, plus an interactive ebook called 1 in 1,000. Lynn, who met Ian as the printer of his books, has learned to love the island as much as he does.
I've always been a city girl, and I've really enjoyed my time on the island. It's very calm, it's very relaxing, and it is very different than just shore 2 minutes away. So this was a bit of a change in my life to move to the island and a much smaller cottage, but it's actually wonderful. It really makes our life a lot simpler. We're at the stage of our life where we don't need as much room anymore. And this is the interior of our cottage. So it might be a long tour, but let's go. Kitchen, dining room, living room, and office. And we're done. It's very much simple, but very charming. So in addition to what you see here, we have a guest bedroom at the back, and we have a little loft bedroom upstairs, which is our quarters. Very modest, very small, but that's all we need really, because we spend most of our time outside.
Which, according to Ian, is where island life really takes place.
We actually have this wonderful mansion with many rooms to it.
Ian Korestein is a pilot, photographer, and author whose favorite place on Earth is this private island retreat he shares with his girlfriend Lynn.
This is our loft bedroom, and there's rooms with a view. This is a bed with a view. It's elevated so we don't miss any sunrise or sunsets. If you need to have blinds in order to sleep, this is not the place, because Ian will not let any window covers go here. So it's always, we get up very, very early because we have gorgeous sunrise right in the harbor. So it's very nice. We could have fancy stairs, but we decided to make it practical. We need lots of drawers, so we're using our chest box. And make sure that we remember to not miss a step when we come down in the morning or in the middle of the night.
A middle-of-the-night trip is usually reserved for the 4th room in this cottage, the bathroom.
So we have a very modest bathroom, just with toilet and sink, but when it's time for shower, I must step outside. And this is where I take my shower, right here. Here we go. It's wonderful for June, July, and August, but May and October are a little colder, unfortunately. The shower is hot. We do have hot water, at least, which saves us, but yes, we need to work on this part of the cottage.
Well, there's not much that I wouldn't do for this love of my life, but
we're working on it.
Don't count on it.
He really does not want this to go. I mean, if we have one inside, we could always have 2. His and her shower. That would be a good idea, I think. Don't you think?
So life on the island is not really about being in the cottage. It's about being out on the island. And what's interesting is even though this is a small island, there's so many different spaces to it. Really, I call them rooms, but just call them living areas. We have one right over here, but my favorite is the dining room. So follow me. So to me, this is the center of the universe. This is our dining room. This is where life takes place. And as far as you can see there, it's just a mess of islands out there. And you sit here, watch the stars and the Milky Way. It's just, this is where life is at. And I can put my camera there and the mood constantly changes in front of it, and whether it's time of day or season or weather or what have you, there are literally an endless number of moods here, and that dining room is the perfect way to enjoy them.
And that's not all. Ian has staked out little rooms on every part of this island.
And it even has a little bit of built-in furniture. This, of course, being the couch, padding and all. And then the meadow, just a really neat stretch of island grass. And this is the diving rock. On this south side of the island, the water's very deep, very clear, and down you go as far as you wish. Rumor has it that occasionally I might be in here skinny dipping a little bit, and perhaps even my lovely on occasion waving to the ship captains as they go by. So it seems like we have a tiny little cottage there, a couple of rooms, but the fact is we actually have this wonderful mansion with many rooms to it, and all of them extremely different with their own unique decor. Owning your own island is a privilege, and it's like having your own little world, your own universe. And I guess we're both intimately familiar with every square inch of it and enjoy every square inch of it.
And enjoy it they do. Lynn has her favorite spot for practicing yoga, and Ian loves to explore the islands, either by boat, plane, or through the lens of his camera.
He's always taking pictures. There's no place we'll go to without his camera, and it will always happen.
Well, you take 1,000 and you might get one that's truly worthwhile. And that's true.
Would they ever trade this island retreat for anything else?
No.
Not a chance.
We wouldn't trade it for anything else. It's a wonderful place here.
For me, life begins here. This is where life is. Everything else is waiting.